So this is the flow state right here. And again, the big idea that I think you need to understand from the start is that the flow experience is when your challenge and skills are relatively evenly matched. What happens up here is we get into anxiety. So if the challenge is significantly greater than your skill set, you are going to experience this as anxiety. I think a lot of times in the world of internet marketing, we feel this as overwhelm. Then on the skill side, this is boredom. Right? So if your skills are way greater than the challenge at hand, you're just going to be flat out bored. Most people who've had desk jobs and they're doing the same thing over and over, you understand this very, very deeply. So the first example I want to cover with this is the idea of the game Tetris. I think everybody's probably played or seen Tetris. You put the little blocks into the empty spaces as they're dropping. So if the game of Tetris is set on an extremely low level, right? Like the basic level, and you're playing it and you have to play those basic levels for hours, you're going to get incredibly bored after about 5 minutes because the challenge is somewhere down here around a 1 and your skills at that game are probably somewhere around a 6, even if you've never played. So that puts it way down here in the boredom section, and you're going to be done after like 3-4 minutes. You're like, this is boring, I'm over it. You've probably downloaded games on your phone that looked cool and you play them for a minute, you're like, this is boring. Then there's the other side. So let's say I gave you a Tetris game, I gave you a console that had Tetris on it, and we are able to put it on the most difficult level ever created in Tetris. So the challenge is up here, and again, your skills are maybe somewhere around a 6 as you are right now. That might be overstating each and every one of our Tetris skills. Haven't played the game in 20 plus years. You are going to feel anxious, you're going to feel overwhelmed, and it's just flat out not going to be fun. You might try that level a few times and all of a sudden you're going to be like, oh, this sucks, I'm over it, I'm gonna go do something else, because it's not in that flow channel. Whereas if you're playing in a level that's relatively evenly matched with where you're at, that is the sweet spot. That's when it's fun. That's when time fades away. But we get better at the things that we do repetitively. And that's where this is a channel and not just a point on the map. So what I'm going to do real quick, I want to clean this up and I want to explain this in another way to help you really, really, truly understand this. The next example is skiing or snowboarding. If you've ever tried it, it's an extremely difficult sport, especially when you get started. And what I'm going to show you is, in this one, we're going to go to the progression of one's skills within the flow state. So step number 1, you are just starting your first time and you get off and you are on the bunny slope, right? You're going down the bunny slope and it's really reserved for people who are brand new, and you fall a bunch. That's going to put you somewhere in here. You're probably going to have some fun. You're new to it. Your skills really are at a very low level. The challenge is not super steep because it's a basic skill. Eventually you get to where your skills build up, so you move this way into the flow channel. Now you're over here, you're still on the bunny hill, but your skills have improved. So what do? You're like, let's take that next lift. I'm ready to go up to the next level. Now here's the question. Do you go to a green circle, which signifies a simple one, which that might bring you over here, right? You go to the green circle, that might put you in a position where your skills are greater than the challenge. Do you go to a blue square that might be up over here somewhere to where your skills are here, but the blue square is putting that challenge outside of your realm? Do you accidentally go down a black diamond, which would be about the scariest thing in the world if you're coming off the bunny slopes? Black diamond signifies advanced, or a double black diamond is the most advanced stuff there is. So this is how we consciously choose where we are in relation to the flow channel. That's the level I'm adding on. And we're going to bring this back to you as a digital marketer and as an entrepreneur in a second here, but I'm trying to use abstractions to make this mental model make sense so you can remember this. So as you start day 1, you're having fun, having a good time. You get to where you're comfortable on the bunny slope. Then what do you do? What challenge do you go for, right? And your goal, if you're able to stay to where you're moving within this flow state, right? You challenge yourself a little bit more, and then your skills improve, and then you challenge yourself a little bit more, and then your skills improve yet again, and you challenge yourself a little bit more, and so on. That is how you gain incremental improvements in a fun and enjoyable way to really truly begin to excel at that which you're doing. So I'm going to erase some things and show you one quick second that it's more like a wavelength. So when you get this right, your skills are always shifting, and not only are your skills always shifting, but your challenge that you're presenting yourself with is always evolving based on whatever you're doing. So the ultimate goal is to put yourself in a position where you are oscillating between higher levels of challenge and skill building, right? So we've challenged ourselves here, but we allow ourselves to build up that skill, which brings us down to this new point where we challenge ourselves yet again, and then we build up the skill, which brings us to this new point here, and so on and so forth. This is when fun and learning and really kind of growing your business, which is what we're going to talk about now, that's when it all just starts to jive. So how does this work out for digital marketers? So I've started and run probably 15, probably 30 different websites. I've owned well over 100, probably like 300 domains in my day. And there's a very consistent pattern on what goes on with digital marketers and people who learn this. It's one of a few things, right? So the first thing is you learn about the world and instantly you realize that your skills are just about zero. And the challenge of building a business online is you're feeling it, right? You're like, okay, this is crazy. But you're like, I'm going to just jump in. I'm going to start my first WordPress blog. I'm going to put up a basic theme. I'm just going to go with a standard Thrive theme. And I'm just going to start publishing content. And I'm going to learn how to publish content doing that. So what happens? Well, you move your skills up and you get to here. And now you're at this point where you're like, okay, cool. I get it. I understand the basics of WordPress. I know how to move things around. I know how to lay out a post. I can put my images in the right place. You've skilled up a bit, right? You're moving forward on the skill level. So what do you do at this point? And this is the most interesting point because a lot of people, you know what they do? They're like, I now have a magic power. I can build websites. I'm going to build 5 websites because I like this, I like that, I like the other. And instantly what happens? The challenge level goes way up here and they go instantly into overwhelm. Instantly. And this is so common in the world of digital marketing and the world of entrepreneurship. They just jump in and they start trying to do everything. Well, I've got 3 different niches. I'm gonna do 3 sites, but now you have to update 3 different sites. You've got 3 different email lists. You've got 3 different opt-ins, 3 different reports, 3 different optimizations, 3 different sets of keyword research. All of your energy is focused in 3 places and you're seeing 30% of the results on any one of them, maybe at the best. This is the problem. And this is what I mean when your conscious choices that you're making each and every day are either helping you stay in that flow state or hindering you from staying inside of that flow state, because your life that you're experiencing right now is 100% a result of your choices, 100%. So what's the other thing that some people do? Well, they're like, cool, I got this going here. I got my blog going. I'm going to add on keyword research and I'm going to add on search engine optimization, which are great skills to add on. But then they look around and they're like, man, that Gary Vee guy, he's all over Instagram and he's all over this, that, and the other. And I need to do YouTubing and I need to be vlogging and I need to make a podcast happen. And I need to. And guess what? You don't. Like you could build an incredibly successful business with a blog and a single opt-in page. And that's it. It takes one great traffic source, focus on creating great content for one audience, and then having one email list. That's all you really need to do. And yet again, this is one of those experiences when people go straight into overwhelm. And what happens when you get overwhelmed? You stop doing the work. You stop doing these things that were actually growing your business. And that is the biggest problem, because that's when people hit their proverbial wall and they stop doing whatever it is that they're doing. So when it works, right? When we get this thing dialed in the right way, and I've seen people hit the scene like this. And honestly, I'll say personally that my growth of this YouTube channel represents, that's what we're going to use here on the last example, because I'm really stoked with what I've created here. It's under 2.5 years. By the 2.5 year mark, I'll probably have about 85 or 90,000 subscribers and over 4 million views, starting with 0 about 2.5 years ago. And I was extremely conscious about what I decided to take on in order to keep moving forward, because first and foremost, I knew I had to publish content day in and day out, and YouTube was my way. I had very minimal YouTube skills. I'll say I was like at a 1 on YouTube skills. So I'll put it here. The process of doing a 90-day challenge on YouTube was astounding. I did 90 videos in 90 consecutive days. The process of recording myself, getting comfortable on camera, going through the motions, uploading, optimizing, while continuing to grow my main business, to be of support, to run my team. I had all that other stuff going on too, right? That was a big time challenge, right? And I'll even say I might have been a little bit out of my comfort zone for the first several weeks, but pretty quickly my skills moved up and I really got to a point where I was comfortable. Now, I did 120 videos in 120 consecutive days. I did not add on anything. I didn't market these things on social media. I didn't try to turn them into blog posts. All I literally did for 4 months straight was a video a day, every day, building what? skills, right? So then I started to implement keyword research, to do my optimization of the actual listings that I'm doing, my tags, all of that stuff. So it added a little bit. I'm up to about here at this point. This is about 4 months into my path, and I just really stuck in with it. Then I went to a 3 videos per week. What that did is it dropped my challenge back down, because I went from doing 7 videos a week to 3 videos a week, and my skills continued to improve. My quality of videos went up, my processes, right? The whole process of recording video, it just got easier. It took less time to set up my lighting, to get the audio dialed. Like, it just got easier and easier. Then after 6 months, this is key, 6 months of doing nothing but putting out my videos, I released my first opt-in report. Here we go, right back into the challenge side. It went big time challenge of, now I got to create some sort of a free giveaway. Then I got to create a new list. I got to come up with an autoresponder sequence. I got to put a new landing page together. I got to get my Lightbox working. I got to get the API connected. You probably know what I'm talking about. And it was challenging. And I kept my 3 videos a week going while I got all of that done. Then I got comfortable because that finished. So now I'm still making my videos. I'm over here now. And then I needed to start emailing my list. Oh, there's another challenge. Now I got to figure out, how am I going to email these people? What am I going to say? What am I going to do? How am I going to get this going? And then that became easy. Then I added all my blog posts, getting my blog posts done. And then that became easy. Got comfortable with that process, turned it into my podcast channel, and so on and so forth. And still to this day, I'm sending emails each and every day. This is conscious. This was all conscious on my part. I knew that if I was here, right, in my first 30 days, 45 days, if I tried to start fiddling with opt-in reports, or I got to get this on my blog because that's what everybody else is doing, or maybe you're looking at me now and I'm up here, right? And I'm emailing my list every single day. I'm putting out my videos 3 times a week, and I'm putting out as awesome of videos as I can. I've got my membership program running. I'm in there every single day. I'm doing micro launches. I got a lot going on. My blog is growing each and every day, right? I got all this going on. You might be right here. And you might be looking at what I'm doing like, damn, Miles, I got to do all that. No, you don't. And in fact, if you try to do all of this right now, and you try to do everything I'm doing right now, and your skills aren't there, and you haven't taken time to skill build, it's going to overwhelm you. You're going to feel stressed. You're going to feel anxious. You're not going to do a damn thing, and your momentum will stop, completely flat, fall flat, nothing. You will do nothing. You will be overwhelmed. You're going to be fried. You're just going to sit on the couch, drink wine, beer, watch Netflix, mood alter, whatever it is you do, smoke weed. I don't know what you do. Maybe you don't do any of those things. You got something you do to distract yourself, scrolling time on Facebook, Instagram, whatever it is. That's where people go when they get overwhelmed, which is the antithesis of growing one's business. So this is the whole idea here. And I want to do it one more time to try to help you understand. So we've got the challenge, and then we've got the skills, right? And then inside of this is our flow state. This is where you want to be, and you are consciously making choices each and every day. Are you going to watch another video? Are you going to go buy some webinar that's going to teach you some shiny object, some fancy thing, and now you got to learn this new software because everybody thinks this special funnel thing is the answer, so you buy it, and all of a sudden, boom, you got no skills in this, and you have to deal with that, right? Or are you just going to let yourself oscillate right here inside of that flow state, adding on challenges after you've skilled up with what you're doing? Then you give yourself time to build a skill with that new challenge that you've added on. Then you add on yet another challenge, and it's incremental. And that, my friend, is ultimately, that's the real trick. If you ask me, this is the part that when people get the business right, and people grow businesses quickly, they're very conscious of taking on one new competency at a time. For me, it was bringing on the competency of creating the videos. Then it was the email list, and it took 6 months of just videos. Then it took 6 months of just my email and videos until that got comfortable within my skill set. Then I added on the written content, another 6 months to a year to dial in that system. Then I added on my podcast feed for it. That took another several months to get going. Then I started emailing every single day, and just incrementally, I've been growing, and I've been staying in the flow state, and my days are enjoyable, and I'm getting more done today than I've ever gotten done in the past. But my skills are at a level today higher than they've ever been in the past. And I'm also taking on more challenges today than I've ever taken on in the past. And the key is that I was patient enough with the process to give myself time to build the skills. So as I added on new challenges, my skills were in alignment with the challenges that I was taking on. So if you feel overwhelmed, do a little self-analysis. What are you working on? What's actually important? Because again, one traffic source focused on being of service to one audience with one opt-in page is all you actually need to grow a successful business. I think it's key for me to put a little asterisk on that traffic source idea. I don't think Instagram alone is enough. People fiddle on Instagram. That is not going to grow a long-term business that you can fill up retirement accounts and pay off houses with. I'm talking blog content, video content, or podcast content. If you want to do social media, great. Add it on as a secondary supportive traffic source to the core content strategy, but don't add that on until you've really gained the competence with your core strategy. Then build your opt-in report, get that going, start emailing your list. Then when you get comfortable with that process, if it takes you a year to get there, great. Now analyze what's that next most logical competency you can add on to help yourself get to that next level. So on and so forth. You will repeat this over and over, and that is how you become a digital marketing and digital entrepreneur success story in a way that is fun and relatively easy, right? We challenge ourselves. My 90-day challenge was a total brutal experience, but it made me a stronger person, and it built those skills fast so I could add on the next and the next, because that was my goal. That was in alignment with my goal, so I was willing to trudge through those challenges. I hope this has been helpful. If you have questions about how this works or anything, get at me in the comments below. I'm happy to connect with you in the comments when I have time. If you enjoyed this video, give me a thumbs up. Let me know what you think in the comments. I really appreciate the feedback on this because this is a little abstract and drawing it out. Do you like seeing these drawing type videos? I appreciate you. Any questions for me, comments, thumbs up, like, engage, do what you do. I appreciate you. Subscribe because I got 3 videos per week coming out. I think I did all those calls to actions I'm supposed to request you to do. I appreciate you. I will see you on the next video, and until we connect again, be well.